this work is that a lot of people think ESD, Empire State Development, just does the big stuff. Like, what's that project down the street called? Atlantic. Atlantic, yeah. That we just do Atlantic Yards or Barclays or downtown Buffalo waterfront or Columbia Manhattanville, for example, in Harlem. They think that's all we do are the big projects. We do work on a number of big and important development projects all across the state. But actually, our day-to-day work is, and that's why these forums, again, I thank you for inviting me today, Senator. We do a lot of day-to-day work with small and medium-sized businesses. And truth be told, that's where most job creation occurs, right? In general economic development, no matter where you are, most new jobs are created by small and mid-sized firms that are already in your neighborhood, in your jurisdiction, in your state. So we, as I said, we have 500,000 employers in the state. You know, since 2011, when I started this job for the governor, and through the end of last year, we've added about 400,000 private sector jobs net to in New York State. It's not enough. It's not enough. We're actually New York now is the second state in the country in terms of private sector jobs created post-recession. So in terms of recovering from the big economic recession in 2008, 2009, California beats us out because it's a much bigger state with 38 million people. Just the numbers, California's a separate. But we're the second most successful state, if you will, in private sector job creation since the recession. There's a lot more to do, to be sure, but most of those jobs are created by small and mid-sized firms, and most of them are already here in our midst. And so again, back at ESD, a lot of what we do, access to capital, revolving loan fund, MWBE. MWBE is small businesses, right? Under the law. They are small firms, right? So we're helping them grow. We have a set of new loan guarantee programs, things over the years I probably learned from Brunel career, but a lot of stuff we're doing in terms of access to capital. And we actually have 2 new equity funds where we can make small investments in startup companies. Some of them, one could be something later this year at Medgar Evers in one of these new startup zones, where we can actually make, through 2 different funds we have, strategic investments in small startup companies through some partners that we work with. And we also, and this is one of the things over the years, Marilyn helped me understand, and Brunel and others, in terms of small business and community finance. We work with, there are about 82 CDFIs, federally registered community development financial institutions in the state. And we work with them statewide. These CDFIs, some of you actually in the room could be, there are a few CDFIs here. These institutions do the on-the-ground lending to small businesses and individuals that the larger, more traditional banks don't always do. They provide very important access to capital, and we fund and support them from ESD. And finally, we run 20, some of you may have gone to these, but we run 24 small business development centers. In your district, the EAP, run by Nancy Karen, the Bach Center Network in Fort Wayne, she's one of our grant recipients. She's part of a network of what we call EAPs, Entrepreneurial Assistance Programs. It is hard, I should say, at a state level running a state agency to do the on-the-ground day-to-day work in terms of technical assistance to individual business. So instead, we fund partners, and they do the work with our support, like people like Nancy Karen and others of you in this room. If any of you have any interest in any of these programs and think you might be able to partner with us or help us or want to learn more about anything that I mentioned, again, please shoot me an email, which is kadams@esd.ny.gov. He said kadams@esd.ny.gov. Or Andrew, who's here. And again, just our website, you can access all this at esd.ny.gov, which is ESD Empire State Development. That's our website. So that is an overview, Senator, of some of the things that we're doing. I'm afraid it's not directly responsive to some of the individual issues that we could do. I did get onto I mentioned the MWE work, but I know there are other concerns that people have this afternoon based on everybody's introductions, and time permitting, and after the Assemblyman speaks. And I should say that he was kind to yield his time, but he also knows we work very closely together. And indeed, in Albany on Tuesday, I'm spending a fair amount of time with the Assemblyman on a host of issues important to his constituents, and he's a very, very helpful partner to me. So thank you, Assemblyman, for being here. And let me return the microphone back to our host.
All right.